Greetings, YouTube. Once again, happy Thursday. This will most likely, surely, be the last video I make before my evening stops. But, big news in the community, and I want to first say that it's very exciting to know that so many people could mobilize so quickly. And in 2018, it really is about being consistent with the message and getting all parties on board. And the biggest voices in the community, far bigger than mine, were very loud and clear about the dangers of taking away diversity in Alliance War. And I want to especially applaud everyone, big voice, small voice, all voices, for really getting Kabam's attention. There were some people today who were like, boycotts will never work, threats will never work, diversity is gone, be okay with it. And I guess it took them 5 hours to be wrong. So this is probably the fastest, most swift change of something that I have seen. So Kabam Mike has issued basically an apology, and we will read it together real quick. Summoners, yesterday we made an announcement about some upcoming changes to Alliance Wars, and you let us know you had big concerns with these plans. You bet we did. After discussing these concerns, we've decided to reverse our decision to remove Defender diversity points from Alliance War scoring. We previously committed to you that we would not make large changes too fast and without more communication. See? Yeah, exactly what you told us after patch 12.0, and you did not learn. The planned change to Defender diversity points violates that commitment. Of course it does, and it's amazing that a boycott took you to realize that, but hey, you still realized it. We will continue to make changes with each season of Alliance Wars to keep the mode fresh, competitive, and interesting. Again, that is always code for to make sure you keep having to spend more money. However, we know we need to keep a balance between freshness versus changing the rules and giving you time to react. We got that balance wrong here. We're taking plans to remove Defender diversity off our docket for now, and we'll go back to the drawing board on ways to improve Alliance Wars as well as our communication with you. Well, that is certainly needed. We will still be applying the announced changes to the Alliance Wars maps. We'll get to that in a moment. As always, we will monitor the results of these map changes and will adjust things if needed. You'll have your first chance to try out these new maps on July 5th when matchmaking for that week starts again. So that is next week. We look forward to hearing your feedback on the new nodes and buffs. So we realize not all of your feedback has been addressed in this decision. We are listening and taking your feedback into account in our future plans. Communication is something we have committed to improving, and we have more work to do there. So true. Thank you for bringing your passion to the contest every day. All right, so overall, I think this was worded fairly well, and I definitely think that getting diversity back in the game is paramount to not absolutely hating your life and having to spend an insane amount of units or just instantly losing an Alliance War. But I want to hesitate just a bit and slow people's rolls before they act like the old Alliance War is going to come back. Because the Alliance War that we knew in Season 2, that I thought honestly was perfect, is gone, and maybe gone forever. And it still has been replaced with some of the hardest, most difficult nodes we have ever seen. And I am super curious. I am so thankful I get to be a bystander on the sidelines when the new Alliance War is rolled out and the people in Platinum and certainly Master have to get the feedback to me regarding how just dang difficult it is to not die on those new nodes. You have to realize 6-star champions have an insane amount of health, even just maxed at rank 1. And those same champions, especially Iron Man Infinity War and Domino, just to name two, are now going to have the opportunity to be put on all or nothing nodes with 300% health increased. I don't know about you, but I would time out so fast. I've timed out against 4-star Iron Man Infinity War with just 150% health boost. So my prediction is still that the best players who are still free-to-play players aren't going to be able to cut it. And hopefully Brian Grant is one of those exceptions because he is so dang impressively good at the game that he can overcome a 300% all-or-nothing health boost node of, say, a Domino. But I have my skepticism for the average person, especially if they have been relying on piloting to get them through difficult fights. I think my last point needs to be this. It's going to get a lot harder, and in some ways, that's okay. We want the difficulty to get worse, I think, for the best players in the game especially. But when the difficulty gets harder, it is only fair to compensate the rewards with the level of difficulty increase. And what worries me is that people are going to have to spend a lot more units worth of items to get the same rewards, unless you're in Gold 1, which I currently am, and then you're actually getting a buff in rewards, the only tier that they announced would be buffed in rewards for a similar level of difficulty. So I still hate Alliance War, and I still am very, very tempted to just find an alliance. If you're an alliance out there that does like map 5 days a week, but doesn't care about Alliance War and just cares about everything else, hit me up in the line app, Prof Hoff, one word. But otherwise, I do think this is a step in the right direction. I really wonder how much of a nightmare those new nodes are going to be, especially 2 more rounds now of mini bosses before you get to the actual boss. It's designed to make you die. And if alliances are okay with that, then maybe you can win by not 100%ing. But remember, if you don't 100%, you also don't explore the whole map and you're hurting yourself in rewards that way. So the end all be all, I predict, this is my hot take prediction, when Alliance Wars come back, and especially starting, July 5th, people are going to be thankful that diversity is still in place, but they're going to be very ticked off at just how much harder it is for no additional compensation. It's going to be like what happened with Alliance Quest on steroids, where they replaced symbiotes with sentinels, and they certainly made the mini bosses harder, but did not change the rewards at all. People were annoyed about that, but not to the point of a boycott. Now, if you all of a sudden go from not dying at all because you're so skilled to timing out and being felt like a scrub unless you keep boosting and spending, it's gonna wear you out. And what I still am very worried about when it comes to Alliance War is that Season 1 and Season 2, which were not nearly as hard as what Season 3 looks like, still burned so many people out. And yes, people can say it's because of how long it was, and certainly part of that is true, but it's also just how anxious it is and how much anxiety it takes to go into those really, really tough fights that everybody is counting on you to not die. And now that those fights, especially like the main ones, are so much harder, the anxiety and the burnout and the lack of fun is going to be even worse. And so I hope for the sake of the game I'm wrong about that, but I just have a feeling because the content's so much harder and you can't even get excited about rewards because they're the exact same, you're going to see people complain that you're having to spend a heck of a lot more units or risk not completing a map for the same price, and that ultimately only benefits Kabam and it does not benefit the player. And so I hope that Kabam gets that feedback and takes that into account when hopefully buffing rewards across the board, especially because these rewards still don't come close to the average player to easily rank 5 a 5-star champ after all of that. And we know that 6-star rank ups are way, way more tier 5 basic and all the other important items away from getting rank 2 for a 6-star. So they've got to make those items more readily available and evolve the game with the rewards that way too. So yay for diversity coming back. Overall, I'm very pleased with that, but still be ready for much harder content for the same rewards, and that is something I just can't celebrate right now. Even if I sound like Mr. Negative, I'm just being honest. It would be nice if the rewards changed with it. Thanks for watching, YouTube.